Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. We always like to do things a little differently here.
Mm,
And today we're going to be doing something extra special, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
I think so too.
So basically, we've got this transcript, and it's a real conversation between these two friends, Aryan and Jaya,
Right.
and they're planning a vacation.
Yeah, just like a casual chat.
Yeah.
Just figuring out,
Yeah.
where they want to go and how they want to do it.
And we thought this would be really interesting for our listeners because it kind of gives you a behind the scenes look at how people actually plan their vacations.
It does, yeah. And, there's always compromises and things to think about.
Right.
So hearing how other people go about it can be really helpful for your own planning.
Totally. And I mean, especially since they're planning a trip within India,
Yes,
which is such a diverse country with so many different places to see and things to do.
it's true. Like, you could spend a lifetime exploring India and still not see everything.
Oh, for sure.
So just listening to Aryan and Jaya, it
Yeah.
gives you a sense of all the different options and considerations.
Exactly. So our mission today is to basically break down their conversation
Hmm.
and pull out those key insights about the vacation planning process.
Yeah, and maybe even pick up on some useful English phrases along the way.
Yeah, exactly. Because the transcript we have is actually from a script for a YouTube video showcasing English conversation.
Right, so it's like a double deep dive
It is.
into both travel planning and language learning.
Exactly. So just imagine you're sitting there with Aryan and Jaya at a cafe in Delhi.
Mm-hmm. Sipping on some masala chai.
Right. And listening to them hash out their vacation plans.
That's the vibe we're going for.
Okay, so let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So right off the bat, Jaya brings up Kerala.
Ah, yes, Kerala. Beautiful Kerala.
With the backwaters and the beaches?
I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to go there, right?
I know, it sounds amazing.
Right.
But right away, Aaron's like, whoa, hold on a second. That's pretty far from Delhi.
Yeah, that's the thing about India, right? Distances can be huge.
Huge.
So it's like that first reality check,
Totally.
You have this dream destination,
Mm-hmm.
but then you got to factor in the practicalities.
The logistics.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how long is it going to take to get there? How much is it going to cost?
And how much time do you actually have?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's a good reminder for all of us to think about those things right from the start.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easy to get carried away with these beautiful pictures and, daydreaming about exotic locations.
Yeah.
But you got to ground yourself in reality
All right.
before you get too far ahead of yourself.
Exactly. So then Arian throws another idea out there. Rajasthan.
Ah, Rajasthan, the land of deserts and forests.
Kings and queens and all that history.
Exactly. A completely different vibe from Kerala.
Totally. So it's interesting how their initial ideas are like polar opposites.
It is, yeah. Like
Yeah.
one's all about lush greenery and waterways,
Right.
and the other's all about arid landscapes and ancient architecture.
Yeah, it really shows you how different people can have such different travel preferences.
It does. And it also highlights, the diversity of India itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have these completely contrasting experiences within the same country.
For sure. But Jaya's not quite sold on Rajasthan.
No,
She's really looking for some water activities.
which makes sense,
Yeah.
after she mentioned Kerala.
It does. Yeah, she's clearly got a preference for beaches and being near the water.
So you can see how their individual personalities are starting to shape their decision making.
Right, and it's a good reminder for you listening that when you're planning a trip with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you have to take everyone's preferences into account.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where everyone's happy.
Exactly. So they go back and forth for a bit, brainstorming different ideas.
Right, like it's a real conversation.
It is.
They're bouncing ideas off each other,
Mm-hmm.
weighing the pros and cons.
Exactly. And finally, they land on Goa.
Goa.
It seems like a pretty good compromise, right?
It does, yeah. It's got beaches for Jaya.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too far from Delhi for Aryan.
Right?
And it's got some historical sites too, so a little something for everyone.
Exactly. Plus, they start talking about the food.
Oh, the Goan food. Come on, seafood feenie.
Delicious.
I mean, that's a vacation in itself right there.
I know you can practically taste it.
That
So they're
was-
getting really excited about Goa.
And that's the thing, when you start talking about the food,
Yeah,
it just adds another layer of anticipation.
it does. Like you're already there.
Exactly.
So now that they've decided on a destination,
Mm-hmm.
they start talking about the logistics.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, how to get there, where to stay, all that good stuff.
The stuff that makes a trip actually happen.
Exactly. So first up, transportation.
Right. The classic dilemma, Fly or train,
Fly, you get there faster.
but it costs more
Train, it's more scenic.
and usually more affordable.
Right. So they're like, okay, let's check train schedules and prices.
Practical thinkers.
They are. And you see Aryan pulling out his phone.
Of course, nowadays, everyone's got their phone handy.
It's like our little travel agent in our pocket.
Exactly. You can check anything you need right there.
Train times, ticket prices, hotel availability.
It's amazing how much you can do with just a few taps.
I know, it's revolutionized travel planning.
Totally. So they're looking into trains, and then Jaya brings up the question of accommodation.
Right. Hotel versus homestay?
That's a good one. I mean, hotels, they're comfortable and familiar,
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
but homestays, they offer a more authentic experience,
Right. You get to interact with locals and really immerse yourself in the culture.
and often they're more affordable too.
Exactly. So Aryan's all about the homestay.
Yeah, he wants that real Goan experience.
I can respect that. And you see Jaya starts browsing homestays on her phone.
There she goes again with the phone.
I know, it's like an extension of her hand.
But it's so useful.
It is.
You can find anything you need online these days.
Literally, and they're not just looking at any homestay.
No, they're being very specific.
They want good reviews.
Of course you don't want to stay somewhere with a bunch of bad reviews.
Exactly. And they want a homestay that offers cooking classes.
Oh, that's cool. I love cooking classes when I travel.
Me too. You learn so much about the local cuisine.
And you get to eat delicious food.
It's a win-win. And they also want guided tours.
So they're really thinking about how to make the most of their trip.
They are. They're not just going to sit on the beach the whole time.
Good for them. It's all about experiencing new things.
Exactly. So they narrow it down to a few homestays that meet their criteria.
And then they finalize the train booking.
Right. They're taking an evening train from Delhi.
Smart move. They can sleep on the train.
Exactly. And they're opting for sleeper class.
Which is a good balance between comfort and affordability.
Right. It's not the most luxurious option.
But it's perfectly fine for an overnight journey,
And it saves them some money.
which they can then spend on other things in Goa.
Exactly like those cooking classes.
Or maybe some souvenirs.
Or just more delicious food.
Always a good idea.
Okay, so now we get to the fun part.
The itinerary.
Yeah, they start mapping out their days in Goa.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so day one, they arrive in Goa,
Mm-hmm.
check into their homestay,
Right.
get settled in.
Yep.
And then maybe take a relaxing walk on the beach in the evening.
A nice, easy start.
Totally. You know, get a feel for the place.
Climatize yourself. Breathe in that salty air.
Exactly. So day two, they get a little more adventurous.
Oh, what do?
They're hitting up some historical sites in the morning.
Nice.
Specifically, the Basilica of Bom Jesus and Fort Aguada.
I've been to both those places. They're amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the basilica is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And Fort Aguada has these incredible views.
Wow.
Soaking up that history.
I love it. And then after all that sightseeing, they're grabbing lunch at a local restaurant.
Got to try the local cuisine.
Exactly. And then it's beach time in the afternoon.
Perfect combination.
Yeah.
A little culture, a little relaxation.
Exactly. So day three is all about action and adventure.
Oh, tell me more.
They're starting the day with water sports.
Nice.
They mention jet skiing or parasailing.
Those are both so much fun.
I know, I've always wanted to try parasailing.
You should. It's an incredible feeling.
I bet. And then after all that adrenaline, they're going to do some shopping at a local market.
Souvenirs.
Exactly. You got to bring back some goodies for friends and family.
And for yourself.
Of course. And then they're ending the day with a cooking class.
I love that they're incorporating a cooking class into their itinerary.
Me too. It's such a fun and interactive way to learn about the local culture.
And you get to eat what you make.
It's the best. And then day four is their departure day.
Oh, sad day.
I know, but they're doing it right.
How so?
They're having a leisurely breakfast
Nice.
and then heading back to Delhi.
So a relaxed end to their vacation.
Exactly. No rushing around trying to squeeze everything in at the last minute.
I like it. It's all about savoring those final moments.
Exactly. And throughout this whole planning session, you can really feel their excitement building.
Yeah, they're clearly looking forward to this trip.
They are, and there's this really positive collaborative vibe between them.
They're working together so well.
They are. You know, they're listening to each other's ideas, making compromises, finding solutions.
And it's clear that they value each other's opinions.
Right. They're not trying to force their own ideas on each other. They're genuinely trying to create a vacation that they'll both enjoy.
Exactly.
And there's even this cute little detail at the end.
Oh, what's that?
They clink their chai cups and say, "To our Goa vacation!"
Oh, that's sweet.
I know, it's like a little toast to their friendship and their upcoming adventure.
It's a perfect ending to their planning session.
It is. So what can we learn from Aryan and Jaya's vacation planning adventure?
Well, first of all, I think it highlights the importance of collaboration. When you're planning a trip with someone else, you got to be willing to listen to their ideas.
Right. And to compromise.
Exactly. It's not about getting your own way all the time. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone. And that often involves giving and taking.
Exactly. So good communication is key.
Absolutely. You got to be open and honest about your preference.
And your budget?
Right, because finances can be a major factor in travel planning.
Totally. And I think Aryan and Jaya also showed us the importance of being organized.
They didn't just vaguely talk about going on vacation.
Right? They actually took concrete steps.
They researched destinations. They compared transportation options.
They looked into accommodation.
They even created a rough itinerary.
So they had a plan.
Exactly. And that's so important for making your travel dreams a reality.
Because without a plan,
It's just a dream.
it is.
So take a page from Aryan and Jaya's book.
Yeah, get organized, be collaborative.
And most importantly, have fun.
Exactly, because planning a vacation should be enjoyable.
It should be.
It's all part of the adventure.
It is. And you know what else I found interesting about their conversation?
What's that?
How their initial ideas were so broad.
Yeah, Kerala or Rajasthan.
Exactly. But then they narrowed it down to a very specific plan for Goa.
Right, with a detailed itinerary.
And that made me think about how the journey of planning can be just as interesting as the destination itself.
It's true. You start with these big ideas, and then as you do your research and talk things through,
Right.
things start to take shape.
And sometimes you end up somewhere completely unexpected.
Or maybe you realize that what you thought you wanted wasn't really what you wanted at all.
Exactly. So it's a process of discovery.
It is, and it can be full of surprises.
For sure.
So here's a thought for you to ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
What unexpected factors often influence your final decisions when you're making plans?
That's a good one.
Because it's not always about logic and practicality.
Sometimes it's about gut feeling.
Right. Or maybe it's a random conversation you had with a friend.
Or an article you read online.
Exactly. So think about it. What are those little things that end up shaping your plans?
And how do they lead you to unexpected adventures?
Something to chew on until our next deep dive.
I'll be chewing.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy travels.
Happy travels.